Hey, buds. Welcome to the Fantasy Buds podcast. It's your host, Brian Gold.
Mark Eletrio.
And I'm Tim Stewart.
And if you want to follow us on social media, you can go to the link tree in the description below and follow us on Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Fantasy Buds podcast. It's your host, Brian Gold.
Mark Eletrio.
And Tim Stewart.
And today we are going to be talking about our 14-team fantasy drafts that we just had on the 6th. Today is the
8th?
The 8th? Yes, the 8th of 2023. So 14 teams, home league, all these guys we went to high school with.
Doing it for a long time.
Tim had the 2nd overall pick. I had the 5th, and Mark had 14.
Ugh. God.
So since Tim picked the highest, why don't you go over your team first, Tim?
Sure. So, 2nd overall pick. For those of you that weren't aware, the last week and a half, I've been gaslighting Tom into trying to take Jamar Chase. It did not work. He still took Justin Jefferson 1st overall. So I called a last-second audible, and I took Tyreek Hill at 2. 2nd round, Jonathan Taylor fell to me, and I hated every second of that because I really did not want to draft him because of the question marks surrounding him. I was then hoping that Tom would pull a Tom and take Josh Jacobs. Spoiler alert, he didn't, so I had to take him too. George Kittle in the 4th round, and then from there on out, it's just a bunch of dart throws. Drake London, I took him because he did have the targets last year, but with me being their quarterback, question mark. Odell Beckham, Lamar Jackson's just a glorified running back.
Desmond Ritter or Tim Stewart?
Pretty much.
Desmond Ritter.
Jordan Addison, I actually really did like, so I did want to take him. Thank God I took him, because if not, it was going to be Mike Thomas, and he is blacklisted from me forever now. Damian Harris I took, hopefully.
And then Tim goes back to his roots.
Yes. Aaron Rodgers I took in, what is that, the 10th round? 9th round.
This time it's not in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. Look at how much I've grown.
Like it used to be every
so much.
Grown so much. And then from there on out, it was kind of just like dart throws. So I took Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall, who I'm actually very high on. I mean, every year, the sleeper app says the same thing. Terrace Marshall, breakout year, breakout year, breakout year. It's got to happen eventually, so why not? Niners defense, good old reliable, and Daniel Carlson. Tyler Boyd, who will, of course, have my 50-point game and then dip. And then lastly, I took Deion Jackson because right now he's technically the starter with Zach Moss being dead. So hopefully if Jonathan Taylor doesn't pan out, I'm hoping Deion Jackson at least
plays.
That's fair.
Who's going to take a job from him? Kenyon Drake? Ooh.
I mean,
like,
wait, can we just go over the fact that Terrace Marshall's name is Terrace? And not
you just found that out at the draft.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought his name was Terrence Marshall.
I did it first, but then, I actually read his name out of respect. You piece of shit.
But yeah, I really, really like my team. Only reason I went Tyreek Hill last second at 2 instead of Chase was because a lot of teams now have, as we know, the wide receiver duos.
Yeah.
And with Jamar Chase last year, I had him in my other league, and he just kind of left a sour taste on my mouth because he was hurt for a while. He had the targets, but he was kind of underperforming. Tyreek Hill has Jalen Waddle, who we know Jalen Waddle's proven, and I do think that Jalen Waddle's a better wide receiver than T. Higgins. And he still had 170 targets. So I felt like I couldn't go wrong taking Hill at 2. I feel like he was just a safer pick than taking Chase. So I said, the hell with that, and I went for it.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, that happens a lot in fantasy where you get a sour taste in your mouth from...
Yeah. Like Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Blacklisted.
Oh, yeah.
Never again.
Oh, yeah.
Never again.
So, Mark, do you want to give your opinions on Tim's team?
To be honest, I don't have a problem with Tyreek Hill in the first. I mean, to be honest, Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and Jamar Chase, as long as they all stay healthy, they're going to finish in the top 5, those guys. So, Tyreek Hill is fine. So the problem I have with Tim's team is that pretty much your entire running back core is a giant question mark between Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs. I don't even know if those guys will both be on those teams still.
I don't think
week 1.
You guys understand that I was prepared to do like a sacrificial ritual to get like Joe or Dean to take Jonathan Taylor.
honestly,
disgust
so
that Dean had 2 years ago drafting Josh Jacobs, that was me with Jonathan Taylor.
yeah, you looked at me.
I
You were
looked
like,
at you and I looked at Cam and said, I'm really going to have to fucking draft this guy.
I was like, so I'm with Mark on this. So the names you have are great, like on paper, but the problem is like you could go from either having a top 5 running back tandem to nothing.
Guys who don't even play.
I'm either going
Just because it's so early.
I'm either going 12-2 or I'm not winning 5 games.
Now,
There's no in between.
I will say, Tim, if,
Like-
if somehow some miracle happens and both of those guys are ready and totally normal by week 1 of the season,
it won't.
then, I mean, you're going to have Tyreek Hill, Jonathan Taylor, and Josh Jacobs in a 14-team league. So if that does work for you, but it's a big risk. I hate George Kittle, too. I think Kittle is
Keep sleeping.
I think where he gets drafted, it's just
Keep sleeping.
Nope.
After last year, I will no longer sleep on George Kittle.
He's gonna have his blow up games and inflate his stats by the end of the year, but he's just gonna be a regular tight end most of the year.
Yeah,
I agree with that unless Brock Purdy is absolutely a starting quarterback. Because when Brock Purdy was the quarterback last year, that's when George Kittle decided to actually play like George Kittle.
I think Kittle's
when it was
good.
Trey Lance, it was a question mark. It was 5 points, 25 points, 2 points, 2 points, 30. Like
The 49ers, besides Christian McCaffrey, I feel like it's gonna be a different guy going off every week. Pretty much. And
yeah, I could agree with that.
there's just so much going on out there.
Well, the only reason I took Kittle was because Joe took Darren Waller.
Yeah,
I was
do
going
love
to take Darren Waller later, but Joe took him, and I was like, well, I know Nick's going to take George Kittle because it's Nick, and he goes after George Kittle every year. And I know that he was going after George Kittle because when I took the sticker, Nick, I heard Nick go, don't you do it, you motherfucker. And then I took him, and he goes, fuck. So I was like, okay.
I thought Tom was going to go with Kittle.
Me
actually.
too.
So I don't mind Kittle as much. Mark probably dislikes him a lot more than I do. I don't like the frustration aspect of having George Kittle.
Yeah.
But that's also having a tight end in today's fantasy
That's
landscape.
not Kelsey.
I don't really like I could see the path for Drake London to be like a top dog in the league, but I'm not so sure about the passing game in that offense. Like, if anything, if anybody's going to go off, it's probably going to be Bijan, and it's not even, that might even be a mid performance. So, like, Odell Beckham, I'm not even sure what to think about that, because we've seen so many different versions of him in different teams, so you don't really know what you're going to get. Addison's a rookie, so he could become Justin Jefferson also, but he could also be Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah.
Man.
So
Laquan Treadwell.
But that being said, this is a 14-team league, and teams are going to look different, especially because it's our home league. You really need a few guys.
Like 2-3 good players.
So Tyreek Hill is going to be a majority of your points.
Yep.
And if Taylor and Jacobs play, I think that's your big 3.
Yeah.
And I think that can be enough to keep you in the playoffs or in the race and not, like you said, less than 5 games.
But I think Aaron Rodgers will be good for Tim too.
Because if they both sit out,
I'm good. I actually really think the player that's going to like the one that has the most potential to be the one that was like, wow, I did not expect that. It really is Terrace Marshall.
Terrace.
I really think that it's him because DJ Moore's gone. He's not dealing with Justin Fields, which wanted Justin Fields, but nope. Thanks, Fabio. Third round. He's for me is the dude that I'm really hoping is like, all right, for the love of God, please just like let the hype actually be there. DJ Moore's gone. Adam Thielen's on one leg. Like, please, for the love of God, just do what you're supposed to.
That's fair.
Please.
All right.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see how it pans out. We'll also go over the final projections at the end of this episode.
Tyreek Hill save me.
We will revisit that by the end of this season. Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to my team since I'm picking 5th. And I went with Travis Kelce in the first round.
Sky's blue.
Sky's blue, yeah. I mean, I was never a doubt. I was going with him the whole time.
Never a doubt.
In this league, I am taking positional advantage 10 times out of 10. Because I can now sleep well at night because now nobody else in the league has Travis Kelce. I have him. So I don't have to worry about ever facing Travis Kelce because he will be playing for me. And then come around in the second round, I was going to go Jalen Waddle, but then I'm looking at the draft and I'm like, Josh Allen is sitting there. And in this league, like I've said this last season and years before, you need heavy hitters. I feel I'd rather take a chance on having the tight end one and the QB one. Josh Allen has a very high chance of finishing there than taking Kelsey and Waddle and have the tight end one and wide receiver 9 or 10 maybe. Because Tyreek Hill is still in Miami, so there is a certain cap to Waddle. So I felt I'm gonna swing big and go with heavy hitters. And then around on the third round, I go with Joe Mixon just to get myself a floor. I'm pretty much set at running back in this league. In this league, you need just one.
Yeah.
The teams that go running back heavy, they always
Usually doesn't work out.
it never works out.
To be honest.
It really doesn't.
Not since the first few years we did it.
Well, that was back when we had Jamal Charles, Matt Forte,
LaShawn McCoy, Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, go down the fucking
You're right,
list.
yeah.
We don't have those guys anymore. So you just really need one. And then the next 3 rounds, 4, 5, and 6, I go with Brandon Ayuk, Marquise Brown, and George Pickens. They don't really excite me, but I think those are guys I'd rather take a chance on. I think there's a breakout in stock for Ayuk and Pickens. I think Marquise Brown, with the departure of DeAndre Hopkins, is going to be on an island in Arizona, meaning that team's going to be so bad. They're going to have to throw the ball. Somebody's going to have to catch the ball. I think, barring injury, if he stays healthy, he's going to repeat what he did the first 4 games last year over a length of a full season. And then more dart throws down the line with Rashad Penny and chance that he takes over in Philadelphia behind that offensive line. Jamal Williams. I went with him over Khalil Herbert just because you want to get off to a hot start in this league. And Kamara is now suspended. So they gave Jamal Williams the money. And I'm thinking I can use him those first few weeks and he can give me 30 points a game like he usually does, like randomly. And then he disappears for the rest of the season. So then I go with Devon A-Chain and see if that sleeper pick pays off. And then I got Michael Gallup, Rashee Rice, Donta Foreman, and then Mr. Will Lutz and the Falcons defense because they play Carolina week 1 at home. I think Bryce Young is going to stink it up. Quarterbacks in their first games usually have a rough time. So, gentlemen, you have the floor. Let me hear it.
What do you think, Tim?
It's tough because your team is one of those teams where there's a lot of upside, but the downside is also even.
Oh, yeah.
If you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I
am not excited about my receivers.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, it's 20 a week. Like, it's Travis Kelce, it's 15, 20 a week, easy. Josh Allen, you actually shocked me when you took him, but I'm glad you took him because if you did not take him, I was taking him because I do not think you guys underestimate how much I did not want to draft Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
You wanted Josh Allen there?
I was going to take Josh Allen at 2 in the second round. But Joe Mixon, like you said, it's a floor. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, not sexy, but...
But your wide receivers, man, good golly. Brandon Ayuk, I do like. I like him a lot. After that, though, it's dart throws. I mean, Deontay Johnson, like you said, Mark, will probably play for 4 games and then die, like always. So... George Pickens, I do like him. I think he's definitely shown that he can be a number 1 wide receiver. It's all going to come down to the quarterbacks.
That's true.
That's literally all your receivers are coming down to the quarterback. That's what it is. Michael Gallup is a huge question mark because Brandon Cooks is there now. Who knows what's going to happen? CeeDee Lamb is going to be CeeDee Lamb. He's clearly the number 1 wide receiver. Brandon Cooks is just going to steal targets, but he's good or reliable in fantasy where he's going to get like 10, 15 points a week normally. I don't mind your team. It's just the wide receivers are a very big question mark.
So
if your wide receivers hit, your team is terrifying.
Yes.
If your wide receivers don't hit, it looks like you drafted in a dark room blindfolded.
You kind of just need one of them to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, even Marquise Brown, like...
Because I'm going to need Kelsey, Allen, and Mixon to really carry most of the load. And if one of those receivers hit, then...
If one of those receivers hit, your team's terrifying. If 2 of them hit, congratulations.
More often than not, Kelsey and Allen are going to give you almost 50 every week combined.
Since you don't like my receiving core and I don't like yours, why don't we put up a poll this week
Yeah.
and see who gets the most votes
Yeah.
and see, maybe we should make a bet who finishes with the more top 15 receivers from this core.
Let's see. Tim's receiving core or Brian's?
So Tim has Drake London, Odell Beckham, and Jordan Addison, Tyreek Hill. I have Brandon Ayuk, Marquise Brown, George Pickens, and Michael Gallup.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I think you're going to get the edge because of Tyreek Hill, but
Yeah.
You just need one guy to break
but
out.
I think outside of Tyreek Hill, I don't like that.
Watch, now that we make this bet, Brandon Ayuk will just turn into Calvin Johnson.
To be
2,000
honest,
yards.
I honestly
1,500,
really like Brandon Ayuk. I was targeting him in this league also, but
To be fair though, once you get past the third, the end of the third round, start of the fourth, the wide receivers that are out there,
Yeah, well, the top are all going.
good golly.
look, I mean, I won't lie. I honestly like Brian's team. I think Travis Kelce and Josh Allen in this league will be enough
Yeah.
to win most of the time. And then Mixon will give you a solid 10, 15. You know, Mixon's boring. He's not sexy, but
Yeah.
I do like Mixon, especially if you go position advantage early. Like if you ignore running back the first couple rounds, Mixon falls at a third or fourth. I love that. And it's like Ayuk too. Like I love Ayuk as a breakout. I think he's going to outperform Deebo Samuel
100%.
this year. I think he'll be the
That's
best.
how I feel.
I think he'll
100%.
be the best pass catcher on the team besides McCaffrey. Marquise Brown's going to get every single target. I
Who
think.
else is there?
Like, I mean, there's really nobody fucking there.
I don't even know.
It's just
Like,
Rondell Moore.
there's no.
Yeah.
He literally gets hurt more than Marquise Brown.
Now,
So,
now, Marquise Brown is injury prone, but as long as he plays at least 14 games or so, I think he'll finish in the top 15. He's going to get peppered. Who else is there?
I think he's going to finish in the. I think he'll finish in that with less games.
He could. I mean,
I
he
think if
catches
Ryan
bombs
gets
too.
10 games out of him.
And it's not like Colt McCoy's dog shit. Like this,
I mean, he's going to throw to him because he's the only fucking guy.
Colt McCoy's been in the league for a very long time too. Like he's been a
Okay.
serviceable backup.
Now, the only problem I have with that, because normally you're right, but we said the same thing last year about Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman.
That is true.
yeah, but I would say Colt McCoy's a backup though. I'm not.
And then Murray will eventually come. I mean,
That's true. Yeah.
I feel like Colt McCoy can probably move better than Matt Ryan.
I'm just saying
right now.
Colt McCoy's fine.
He'll be fine.
he's
I think
just
a pepper
fine.
shaker could move better than Matt Ryan at this point.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
I mean, I think everybody can.
Is he even still in the league? Did he retire?
No, he's a free agent. He's just
He's just hanging out at Atlanta
Hanging out.
Falcons camp.
so. Before we move on to Mark's team, I just want to say the year I got this puppy right here. I also drafted Travis Kelce, Joe Mixon, and then Kyler Murray. So similar strategy. I don't know. And then I took Deontay Johnson the year of his breakout and Jerry Jeudy. So who do you think is going to be the Deontay Johnson and who's going to be the Jerry Jeudy? Because Jerry Jeudy fucking busted hard that year.
He did.
Are we talking about on your team? Or are we talking
Yeah.
in general, this entire consensus out of the.
I think Brandon Ayuk.
Who do you think, out of these three receivers, who do you think is going to be the breakout? Who do you think is going to be the absolute bust?
I think Ayuk will break out and Pickens will bust.
Yeah.
I am actually going to do the complete opposite of what
course
you
you
just
are.
said. The only reason I say that is because there is a lot of mouths to feed on San Francisco.
That's true.
That is true.
With the quarterback being a question mark, as in we don't know if it's going to be Trey Lance because of the draft capital that they put in him, or if it's going to be Brock Purdy, who I think it should be Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy proved himself last year that he should get a shot. But that being said, I think George Pickens going throughout camp with Kenny Pickett being the quarterback and Deontay Johnson constantly getting hurt, I think George Pickens is the one that's primed to have the breakout season. And I think he's going to be the one to where if he hits, I think your team goes over the top. Because in a 14-man league, it's not like a 10-man league where you need 4 or 5 guys to hit to be good.
You need a well-balanced team in those leagues.
Yeah, in a 14-team league, you can have 3 good guys and you can win the
You
championship.
need one of those guys to break out.
It's like 2 great players and then a couple players that give you a floor. or
Literally,
something. Like
that's it. And your team has that. Travis Kelce, you know what you're getting with him. He's going to be the tight end one.
Long as he stays healthy.
As long as he's healthy, he's going to be the
injury.
tight end one. He's going to get 10, 15 targets a game as a tight end, which is ridiculous. Josh Allen, it's Josh Allen. 30 touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns. It's Josh Allen.
It's just Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I honestly think the biggest question mark on your team is Joe Mixon.
Really?
Yeah. I think
I think
Rashad
he's the
Penny,
most-
if he's healthy, is going to be the Eagles' running back, and DeAndre Swift is going to be
Wait,
more
did you
of the
say Joe
catching.
Mixon?
I think Joe Mixon is your biggest question mark out of everybody.
How come?
Just because I feel like teams who have two top-notch wide receivers, especially with Cincinnati saying they want to be more of a throwing team, you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who are going to demand the ball. You have Joe Burrow, who, let's not get it twisted, is that guy and will also run the ball if need be. For me, he's the biggest question mark because you know his ceiling, but we also know Joe Mixon's floor. His ceiling, top 3 running back in fantasy. His floor, not even sniffing top 20. That's why for me, it's kind of like the big question mark of, is it last year to where it's a healthy balance? Or is it because Jamar Chase is healthy, T. Higgins is healthy, their whole team is healthy besides Joe Burrow, who needs a calf currently? Is it going to be...
Needs a kid.
Is that going to be the question mark?
I think that's fair. I will say, though, when Mixon was top 5, that was when the whole offense was healthy. Like, I think they're going to be scoring points. He'll be in position to score. Samaje P. Ryan's gone.
Gone. That is true.
He can get more catches.
That is true.
So
yeah.
we'll see. Like I said, not sexy. Doesn't really excite me, but sometimes you need what you know.
It doesn't matter even if Joe Mixon doesn't hit because you drafted Jamal Williams and he's just going to get 10 touchdowns a game anyway, so it doesn't matter.
22 touchdowns and 500 yards.
Yep.
So why don't we move on to Mark's team? Mark.
The 14th pick.
The 14th pick. 14 out of 14. And he chose that pick. He's like, I really like 14 this year.
Hey,
So
I did good with 14 last year, so...
Hey,
I did so
not
many.
terrible.
I did so many mock drafts. I would just mock over and over again. And I'll tell you guys what, not a single one of my fucking mock drafts came out the way to my team. Actually ended up coming out.
Nobody's did.
So I swore to God I was going to get AJ Brown or Adams, at least one of them. I thought if one got taken, the other one would drop, at least, because that's what kept happening in every mock draft. Nope, all gone. So I selected Amon-Ra St. Brown with my first pick.
Love the pick.
I wasn't really crazy about that at first, but I mean, look, the guy's a beast. Like, he's going to get at least 120, 130 targets. The guy caught 100 passes last year. He's the only guy there now. DeAndre Swift is gone. They're gonna. Who's his competition? Jahmyr Gibbs catching the ball pretty much. Like he's gonna get peppered. My second pick, I went with Jalen Hurts. Pretty much the same thing Brian said about Josh Allen. It was Jalen Hurts versus like Nick Chubb or Garrett Wilson or somebody like that, but why take a guy like Nick Chubb or Garrett Wilson when you can take a guy who I believe could finish as the top overall player in fantasy?
My dog's trying to fuck with the equipment.
She's trying to throw the laptop.
Yeah.
But no, Jalen Hurts, I think he could finish as the top overall player in fantasy. He's that talented. Top quarterback. He could finish out. He was on pace to do it last year until he missed a couple games. I wanted to get him really, really bad. I had him on my mind the whole time. Just in this league, you want ballers. You want guys who put up guys who are going to put up a shit ton of fucking points, no matter what position they play. Third round, I took Aaron Jones. Reasoning behind this was I just wanted a guy with a nice floor. I feel like he's the best player on that offense. Jordan Love, a rookie, I feel like he'll lean on, technically a rookie. I feel like he'll lean on Aaron Jones a little bit more with the checkdowns. And Aaron Jones has been a great receiving back his whole career. So, he'll at least give you a nice floor. And he has that. He's had those 40, 50-point games before also in his career. My fourth pick was DJ Moore. I fucking love DJ Moore. I think he's going to get peppered the whole year. I think he's going to get every single target. I think he's going to take Justin Fields to another level this year. I think he'll help him out a lot. My next pick was Tyler Lockett. This was kind of like a this guy fell to me pick. Like, I didn't really plan to take Tyler Lockett, but he just kind of kept falling. And I'm like, as my number 3 receiver, why not? My sixth pick, this is where I kind of started to get a little risky. I took James Cook. Now, I love James Cook this year. There's been a ton of shit coming out about him, about how the offensive coordinator thinks he's a 3-down back. He himself thinks he's a 3-down back. In camp, he's been catching passes nonstop. It's been raving about him as a receiver. His competition's what, Damian Harris? I mean, I love him. I think he's going to get the bulk of the work in Buffalo, and he's going to be the best running back that a high-powered offense has had in a couple of years now. The next pick was Evan Ingram. This guy kept falling pick. I needed a tight end. I wanted Pat Freiermuth, but Max, who already had Mark Andrews, just decided to take another tight end. Thanks, Max.
Needs a backup, right?
Thank you. So
we advise against that. Don't take two fucking tight ends and two fucking quarterbacks.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Max? Are you kidding me?
Unless it's like 2 top tight ends.
Playoff team.
Yep.
100%.
12-1. No, but like Evan Ingram, I think he's on a great offense. He'll be in scoring position a lot. I think
they paid him.
I mean, like they did pay him. I think he'll take a little bit of a hit this year just because now they have Calvin Ridley too, and like now they have Travis Etienne is on his second year. He's only going to improve. Christian Kirk is a great receiver in his own right. I think he will take a little bit of a hit, but
wide receiver 1,
tight end 1.
Yep.
My next pick, at this point, I just start going for all just guys who maybe I think at some point with an injury could start or just maybe could have some kind of role. So I took Quentin Johnson. I don't really like Quentin Johnson, to be honest. I just compared to the other guys who were there. I'm like, well, he's on a good offense. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams cannot stay healthy. And I won't be shocked if they miss time, if one or both of them miss time at some point again, which could put them in a bigger role. And we've seen guys do well in that role before, like Josh Palmer. I took Kadarius Toney. I know.
Stellar.
I know. To be honest, he's the wide receiver 1 there. And I know he's never healthy, and he won't be healthy the whole year. But even if he can give me a couple games as the Chiefs wide receiver 1, I'll take that, to be honest. This is where it just gets, dart throw. I took Tajay Spears from the Titans. He's Derrick Henry's backup. Basically, my reasoning behind this was Tajay Spears is a talented player coming out of Tulane. I think that Derrick Henry's getting older. He could, and if he does miss time, his competition, Tajay Spears, who's the other guy there? Fucking, I don't even know who it is.
Hassan Haskins?
Yeah,
I think he's facing charges of something.
Yeah, like Hassan Haskins. So he's basically probably going to get propelled into Derrick Henry's role. And he's also a great receiving back, which Derrick Henry has never been. So maybe he can get on the field on third down. Chase Brown I took just because he's Joe Mixon's backup. And just like the question marks, but I think Joe Mixon's fine. But like if he were to miss time, you get a running back on one of the best offenses in the league. Tank Bigsby, apparently he might have a role right out the gate as the goal line back on the Jaguars. And I think that's very valuable this year. I think the Jaguars, they were a top 10 offense last year. Now enter another year of development for Trevor Lawrence, enter Calvin Ridley, enter another year developing chemistry with Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne getting better, all these guys. I think the sky's the limit for their offense. And Tank Bigsby also apparently has been a great receiver in camp, which Etienne wasn't last year. So, I mean, like you never know. Maybe he gets on the field. And then defense and kicker, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, seriously. There. Honestly, the way I feel about your team is I think it's one of the most balanced teams in our league, but it also doesn't wow me.
Yeah, it doesn't really like my receivers like Tyler Lockett doesn't wow me. Like Aaron Jones doesn't wow me. Like Aaron Jones and Cook. Like I think they'll be solid, but you're not going to be like holy fucking shit every week. Jalen Hurts, love him, favorite player on your team. He's my RB1 who also
St.
throws
Brown,
the football.
He's my darling, my baby. I think he's going to be a top 10 receiver.
I think there's no way he isn't as long as he stays healthy.
It's just I'm not used to seeing his name in the first round now because
I never thought I'd take him in the first round.
Because I was in on him when he was a rookie and I've watched him grow and now it's like he's getting all this recognition and all this hype and he's going to get these targets and he's finishing top 10 and I'm like, wow, I'm watching this guy grow before my eyes and it's great. But DJ Moore, I love him this year.
Yep.
It all comes down to if Justin Fields takes that leap. And I think he's going to get fucking peppered. Just absolutely peppered.
DJ Moore target. I think every game.
I think Lockett's going to be solid.
You know what he's going to get.
You know what you're going to get.
I was fine when it was my third receiver.
I think Evan Ingram, he's going to be top 5, but
Just need him to be solid. That's all.
which means he'll just be solid. Like he's not going to be
Yeah.
game breaking.
You don't get Kelsey. You just want a guy who's steady. Just can be solid. Just
Yeah.
on a good offense.
Nope.
I mean,
And then your bench, whatever.
yeah,
I mean,
whatever.
who
It's just
fucking cares?
all upside guys who maybe could play at some point. Just rookies, young guys. Like
your bench will be probably gone after
Probably
week
different,
1.
yeah.
You'll drop it after. Like I don't really give it. It's just your starting lineup.
somebody will get dropped.
Yeah.
But
So
to be honest, I don't think I did a bad job for pick 4. Actually, I want to hear what Tim thinks because Tim hasn't.
I don't think you did a bad job at all.
no, like I said, solid. Just not like
It doesn't jump off the board for sure.
Yeah.
I was like when I was looking at it, I was like, at first, like I was like, damn, like maybe I fucked up here, like but like I don't know. The more I think about it, I do actually kind of like it for 14 teams. I love Jalen Hurts.
Only thing I would have done is I would have waited on QB a little bit longer. Because
I
you
just
did
wouldn't have
still
got him.
You did still have like Justin Fields, Joe Burrow. You could have got later, Herbert. I personally, I think at that pick, I probably would have went Nick Chubb, just because of Kareem Hunt is gone, and it would have given you a better. I like Aaron Jones, but I've also had him in the past, and I know that he is streaky. As in, you're going to get 5, 30, 15, 5.
He can be frustrating,
2, 10.
Aaron Jones. I'll admit
And
that.
I feel like I would have went Nick Chubb and then Aaron Jones, and then honestly, probably at the James Cook pick is when I would have went QB. Now, with that being said, this for some reason was the year when everybody decided to finally take a QB in the 3rd round. Like for the first time ever, QBs just started flying off the shelves. Like there was a discount. So you wouldn't have gotten one of the top quarterbacks, which is why I don't mind the Jalen Hurts pick at the 2nd round that much, knowing that all the QBs went off the shelf.
To be honest, my whole strategy with the Jalen Hurts pick was I was like, look, I'm at the turn. When you're at the turn, you can't worry about
He was
ADP
not
as
coming
much.
back to you.
I just think you have to pick guys you like. You have a
Yeah.
whole selection of guys you can pick this round. Like you got Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Garrett Wilson, Nick Chubb on the board. Like pick from your favorite of these guys. Who do you think is going to get the most points out of all these guys? And I think Jalen Hurts will end up finishing with more points than Nick Chubb at the end of the year, and then Garrett Wilson and Derrick Henry and Chris Olave at the end of it. Maybe not Patrick Mahomes, but oh well. Jalen Hurts was one of the guys I really wanted to get this year.
Yeah.
And so was DJ Moore and James Cook, actually. And they were all guys I took just on the term, maybe a little earlier than their ADP, but I knew they wouldn't come back to me. So I wanted to make sure I got them.
sometimes when you just take guys that you like, it just works out for you.
Yeah,
Because
That's what I did last year when I picked 14. I took guys that I like, made playoffs.
you were one of the top
So,
seeds.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you were one. You were the first seed, I think.
No, Joe was.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
the 2nd seed.
You were 2nd seed.
Yeah, I mean, like I took James Cook. I mean, some of my other options would have been like David Montgomery. I mean, like he's fine, but
At least James Cook can be a 3-down back.
I think the Heat has the
potential.
I mean, like Zach Charbonnet, like J.K. Dobbins, like what the fuck? Like, I mean, like, I'm really gonna draft these, like
Yeah.
Antonio Gibson.
Antonio.
Like no, there's no way. Like, I just like James Cook more than those guys. I think he has the most.
Antonio.
You gotta take guys with upside. I think Montgomery has no upside. Like, I mean, like, he'll be
He's
solid.
He'll just be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
What are they doing?
They're just
My dogs are
sniffing around.
sniffing around this whole room. What's going on, babies? Whatever.
You want to talk about the winners and losers?
Yeah,
that
let's
we
talk
think?
about some winners and losers of this league. I'm going to start first. I think Cam is a fucking loser for taking Bijan Robinson in the first.
over some of the guys that went.
Cam's team is ugly.
Look, I get it. Greatest running back prospect to come out in like 10 years. Great. I am not fucking putting all my eggs in that basket. Because I remember there's guys that bust. He hasn't played a fucking snap. Like, yeah, he was great in college, whatever. I need to see it first in the NFL. There's plenty of guys that were generational in college that were the great prospect, and then they didn't do fucking shit.
Yeah.
And to put all your balls into one place there, I think you're going to be deflated.
We've also seen Atlanta mismanage more than one blue chip prospect
Fucking
over the past couple of years.
Algier and Patterson are still there. They're not going to just completely disappear. Like, I don't think
they're going to lose work. I mean, like, look, Bijan Robinson's going to play most of the downs. Like,
Yes.
I'm not going to like, he's going to play almost all the downs. He will be good, Bijan Robinson. But like, Stephon Diggs went right behind him. AJ Brown went right behind him. Like, Devontae Adams went right behind him. Like, Saquon Barkley went behind him.
Chubb went behind him. I think Chubb's going to be way better.
Chubb went behind him.
Henry went behind him. I think Henry's going to be way better.
Even Tony Pollard went a whole round later, and I think he could finish higher.
Yeah, seriously.
Than Bijan Robinson.
Stevenson. I think James Conner's going to have a better season, honestly, just because he's going to get all the work.
Yeah.
I mean, Bijan will get most.
Let me
rephrase
that. I just think when is Atlanta going to be scoring?
That's the thing.
You're going to be hoping that Bijan breaks one off, I think.
You're basically right. I feel like you're going to be watching every game and you're like, fuck, man. It's honestly like watching Saquon with the Giants because like sometimes like their offense.
Imagine if they had a team.
Because like their offense sometimes would be so fucking anemic. And then like Saquon would just rip off a 40-yard run and then get the chains moved. But yeah, like I just don't. And then he took T. Higgins in the second, and I thought that was a reach. To be honest, I thought he could have gotten. I would have rather went Jalen Waddle than T. Higgins. To be honest, probably I would have went Josh Allen if I was him over T. Higgins.
There was a few wide receivers that should not have gone.
Tony Pollard, I probably would have went
there.
I don't know. I just thought that was a little high for T. Higgins.
Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, DK, Keenan Allen, all of them I think should have went over Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of those guys are number one receivers, and T. Higgins is not. I mean, Joe Burrow in the third, that's fine. I mean, like whatever. TJ Hawkinson, I don't know how to feel about TJ Hawkinson this year. Like I kind of feel like he's a trap player.
It kind of is. I feel like. I mean, he had 2 40-point games last year.
Which inflated his stats.
And I think he's going to get overdrafted, and people are going to be disappointed. I mean, that's just tight ends. It's either Kelsey, Andrews, or fuck yourself. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Punt. You can take Evan Ingram late. You can take Okonkwo, Dalton Kincaid, Pat Freiermuth. Like, you can take any of those guys late, and they'll probably still put up the same production as, like, TJ Hawkinson and George Kittle. I'd rather have Darren Waller and Dallas Goedert than
I was about to say
Hawkinson.
The same thing, and they both went. Dallas Goedert went a whole round later, and I'd honestly rather have. And Darren Waller went almost a round later, and I'd also rather have both of those guys.
I think Tom had a solid, like, I think he won the first
like
5 rounds. Like, for having the first overall in a 14.
It's pretty good.
You get Justin Jefferson, then you have Pollard and Stevenson. I think they're going to be both top 10. Trevor Lawrence, like,
could be top 5.
We've been hyping him up this whole offseason. So, like, I think he's going to be certainly within the top 5. Maybe
absolutely.
Certainly within the top 10,
5,
probably top 5. And then Goddard, top 5 tight end. Then after that, I don't love Deontay Johnson or Mike. I think if you take Michael Thomas, that's a fucking loser pick.
I think you wasted a pick.
Mike
That's
Thomas
a waste of a
is going to
pick.
be a fantastic wide receiver for the 2 games that he plays. That's it. He'll get you 20 points for 2 games, and then after that, have fun with the D.
It just hasn't changed. Like, for 3 years, we've been waiting, and
It's literally just DQO. That's it.
He hasn't played more than 10 games and since 2019.
Slant boy.
I mean, I won't say slant boy. He was a great route runner, but now it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, what is wrong with him?
You're right. He was a fantastic route runner on slants.
I'll be honest with you. I fucking hate Joe's team, and it's going to work for him, and I know it's going to work.
I think Najee Harris in the second fucking stinks.
I thought that was awful.
Now, here, let's just go through Joe's team, shall we? Jamar Chase,
I do
2,000
like guys
yards
on his team. Jamar Chase is obviously great.
2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Najee Harris, 5,000 rushing yards, 10,000 receiving yards. DK Metcalf will turn into the second coming of Randy Moss.
I don't hate DK Metcalf.
Darren Waller just be Tony Gonzalez 2.0.
200 targets.
Damian Pierce, 1,000 yards.
But
Courtland
then, like,
Sutton will have a
Courtland
resurgence.
Sutton.
Oh, don't worry. He'll have a resurgence. He'll be the standout number 1 wide receiver.
I fucking hate Courtland Sutton.
I hate Sutton and I hate Burks.
I'm so sick of Courtland Sutton. He's let me down for the last time, Courtland Sutton. Fuck
Jared
him.
McKinnon will somehow turn into the starter for the Chiefs. Like,
well, I mean, the Jared McKinnon will have a role with the Chiefs, but like, I don't know. I mean, Najee Harris over Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, even like Joe Mixon, I would take over Najee Harris probably.
yeah, I don't know what he was thinking in the
To
second
be
round.
honest, like, I just holy hell.
The heartbreak that I saw when he put Najee Harris on the board instead of Josh Jacobs or Jonathan Taylor was.
I do
bad.
like Dameon Pierce too, but like the Texans offense is going to suck us. I feel like that just caps him. Like I love Dameon Pierce as a player, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, we love Darren Waller here. And obviously, we
I've
love
been
that.
in on him for years. I think this is going to be the year he comes back to form.
I'm falling for it again this year. I won't lie. I actually, as much as I like hate to admit it and just give him any credit, I do like Luka's team. I think his receivers
Receivers are outstanding.
I think they'll be good enough to just win him. And like, I don't even love the rest of his team that much, but I think like Sanders and Montgomery will be like just okay enough to just support his three receivers.
He's going to need those 5 to stay healthy and perform how they're projected to perform.
Yes, and if Geno Smith plays how he did, just as solid like he was last year, I think Luka's team is actually going to be really good in this league.
I think Luka's team will be a playoff team.
I think he will be
Adams,
also.
Wilson, Ridley.
I think that's incredible.
I think that's incredible.
A plus.
That's A plus.
That's an A plus receiver core.
Yeah.
And I
then
wanted Ridley, so I was so fucking mad when
he
took
does have
Ridley.
Dalvin Cook, so if he signs somewhere, we'll see how that turns out. But
Kendre Miller, I don't know. Maybe he starts at some point. Who knows? Like he could work out. I don't know. Like you never like if one other guy hits that he has like outperforms their ADP with his receivers, he is gonna. I think he'll be the best team in the league this year.
I think Big B's team fucking
You think it stinks?
outside of the top 2 picks. I was like, those are like he put those 2 up on the board, and I was like, way to go, man. That's a great.
Yeah.
And then this is the reason why I don't like it, because he took Nick Chubb and then he took Amari Cooper. So now you're locked
2
into the
guys,
Browns
yeah.
offense, and
Amari Cooper was a panic pick for Big.
Yeah,
he
and-
wanted Calvin Ridley.
and then
Don't panic pick, guys.
yeah, do not panic pick. Like he could have took DJ Moore there, and I thought
he was going to take DJ Moore.
If he took DJ Moore, I would think his team's like. So if he went DJ Moore and then Miles Sanders, I think
His team would have been terrifying.
terrifying, because he went Amari Cooper to Brees Hall. Now Brees Hall, wonderful talent. I think he'll be a star in the league, but
maybe not this
Not
year.
this year.
maybe not this year, because they got the rumors of Dalvin Cook showing up there, and if he's there, he's not going to go away, and he's also not ready to play yet. So
They also still have Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight, who played a lot
Yeah.
last year.
and they got Aaron Rodgers. So like I can see the path for Brees Hall to be top 5, top 10, but he's also got a lot of obstacles. So I think that's a very risky pick. Yeah. I just really don't like having a running back and wide receiver from the same team unless it's like the number 1 offense.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Browns are going to be that. The only time I want players from the same team is if it's quarterback and wide receiver, quarterback and tight end, like to have that connection.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Evans, too, is like, he's just boring. I mean, like, you know what Mike Evans is going to give you. I mean, like, where Big B got Mike Evans, I think that's fine. I honestly think it's solid. Like,
Yeah.
they fall so much, him and Godwin. And, like, they're still great receivers. Like, they're going to
get theirs.
They still do well. I mean, like, they're not going to finish in the top 10 or top 15 probably, but I think they'll be solid, especially Godwin. I think will be very solid still.
Yeah.
I think Jackson Smith and the Jigba could be good for Big B. That could be a good surprise for him. DeAndre Swift, I like DeAndre Swift, but he's just going to get hurt. He's just not going to stay. He never does. And like, I really hope he does, because he's obviously on the Eagles now, but yeah, Big B's team is kind of just, a lot of guys are just boring, sort of like, but I think he could have a solid team, like a boring, solid team.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah. like
but being locked into the Browns offense
Like,
is a little rough.
fucking like 6 and 9.
No.
So honestly, and I'm gonna hop on this. I think fucking Dean has an absolute winner pick with Alexander Madison and pairing him with Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I was hoping Madison would fall back
I think
to me.
he's got solid receivers with solid floors with Waddle, Keenan Allen, and Terry McLaurin. And he's
Tua.
also going to have that connection with Tua.
Yep.
And I love Greg Dulcich, like in Dynasty and as a late flyer, like all over.
They've been
Give me
raving
some-
about him.
Give me some chitch.
Some chitch.
And then he's got Kyler Murray also, who can come back and be a top 10 quarterback like he usually has been.
I think it's worth mentioning it's Dean.
Yeah, he's got about 3 championships in our league. So.
Dean has been a very good player in our league. He's annoying.
And honestly, what about Max's? I love his first 4 picks.
So Max's team,
I'm really proud of Max. Honestly, I am. Like,
he had a very solid draft.
He had a very solid draft.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I fucking hate Max's team.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just like his first 4. I don't like the rest of it. I do.
And it's like, I'm not even trying to bash him because like he took 2 tight ends. Still, fuck you for that, man. But like, even without the 2 tight ends thing, like, I don't really like Jerry Jeudy that much.
I don't like Jerry Jeudy.
I think he's just another player we're drafting based off like 4 good games, 5 good games. And in the past, that has not really worked out, at least for me personally, in fantasy. James Conner, I think, will be fine and boring. Like he'll be solid. I don't know how good their offense is going to be. I think that could cap him a little bit, but I think he'll be solid. And Lamar Jackson, I just can't. Maybe I have a bias from last year with it, but I just can't fathom drafting Lamar Jackson in the 3rd round this year. I did not want him at all. Quarterback 1, probably 5,000 passing yards, 50 touchdowns,
MVP year.
Look, I mean, like, I like Lamar as a player, but just if he's not rushing for those long touchdowns for you, he's gonna have an average game for you.
Yeah.
And you want that in the 3rd round, pretty much. And Mark Andrews, I like Mark Andrews, but look, he was banged up a lot last year. And if you go back and look at the games he did play in, it really wasn't that amazing either.
I had him.
And
I had him, yeah.
He nearly sucked my season.
And I mean, I just don't want that in the 2nd round compared to guys like Josh Allen, Jalen Waddle, Tony Pollard, Jonathan Taylor, even like Ramondre Stevenson. Like
Derrick Henry's going in the 2nd round.
Derrick Henry, like
Nick Chubb,
Chris Olave. Like, I'm not drafting Mark Andrews over any of those guys. Yep. And he's locked into the Ravens offense, who they are gonna have games where their passing attack is fucking anemic. I don't care about Odell Beckham. Zay Flowers is a rookie. Rashad Bateman's hurt already, too. So they're a run heavy team.
Nope.
I really don't like Mark Andrews that much. I'd rather draft Darren Waller, Dallas Goedert later on.
Yeah, and we have enough of a sample size of Lamar Jackson. They say they want to pass more this year. They did bring in the weapons.
They've been saying they want to pass more.
They have the offense, but until I see it, like, I need to see it to believe it.
Yeah, I mean, like, Lamar Jackson would have to change his whole play style, basically, to support multiple fantasy number 1 players. Like, so if you want Mark Andrews to be the number 1 tight end, I think that year's done where he was the number 1 tight end. I think that was a one-off thing, and he's done with that. Mark Andrews.
He'll be top 5, but he's...
So whose team here do we dislike the most?
Who do we think lost?
Yes.
Who won? And I'm going to say Luka won.
I'm going to agree, and I'm going to say Luka won.
I'm going to say... Honestly,
I'm going to say...
I hate to say it, Dean won.
You think Dean...
I think he has one of the most...
Very balanced
along
team.
with yours. His has more of a like he's got Christian McCaffrey.
He's got guys who jump off the page a little more. Jalen Waddle.
If Jonathan Taylor and Jacobs work out for me, I think I won.
Yes.
And I don't even think it's close if they pan out.
Well, yeah.
Because that's 3 first-round caliber talents.
That is true.
You will be carried by that.
Yeah.
Like I said.
But that's big if they work out.
If they work out.
Yeah.
The loser, I think it's Cam.
Yeah, I agree.
Cam or Max for me.
I hate his team. I hate Cam's team.
No, I think Cam is my loser, and I think Max is second. But I'd probably have to say Cam too.
Yeah. I think Cam's team is awful, but he's going to be a playoff team.
Somehow it'll all work out for him.
So why don't we close out with the final standings of this? The projected final projections for our league. So Joe is projected to win the league.
Yep.
With Najee Harris in the 2nd round. Blaze is projected to finish 3rd. Are you Kittles? You're projected to finish 2nd.
Not making playoffs.
Not making playoffs.
That's what that means.
Tom's 4th.
Tom's 4th. Max is 5th. Luka is 8th. Big B is 6th. I am 7th, so yay.
Luca was 8th.
You're 10th.
I saw I'm 10th. Who's Phineas and Herb?
I think that's Cam.
Is that Cam?
Yeah.
So Cam.
No. That's Nick.
Oh, that's Nick.
Nick is 9th.
If he has Herbert,
No, I thought Nick was
no,
Nick's
quad squad.
he's finished.
Yeah.
He's projected to finish dead last.
They have Nick 14th. They have Dean 13th.
Yeah.
Actually, who Brian
Which means he's
thinks
gonna win
won
the
the
league.
draft. But I mean, I also thought Luca won the
Fabio,
draft.
they have Fabio finishing 11th. Luca, they have finishing 12th.
No, he's 8th.
I thought he was pit stop. Or is that Max?
I think he is pit stop. No. He's
Luca's
salami mommy.
Salami mommy.
He's
Max
always
must
been
be
salami
pit stop
mommy.
then. Okay. Yeah, because Max had Kyle Pitts last
did,
year.
yeah.
So Max was pit stop. So they have Max finishing 12th. Fabio
Wow.
finishing 11th. You finishing 10th.
Yeah, Phineas is Cam.
Oh
Okay.
no, Max is Shanghai huge erection.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, so
he's
they have
fifth.
him finishing
Sorry.
5th.
Yeah, we already said
We
that.
forgot what the team
Fucking
names were from
high
last
asses.
year.
And
no,
then,
no, pit stop was Gabe.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
so he's 12th.
Okay.
So yeah,
Interesting.
So
interesting.
They
We will.
have me 10th. Tim is 2nd. Right?
Yeah,
Tim's
I'm 2.
2nd. Brian is
Seventh.
7th, and I'm 10th. So that's what the app
Hey,
has.
last year I was projected
projected.
3 and I made playoffs. So
Whenever
I'll
I
take
get
it.
projected to be good, I'm dog shit.
Yeah,
So-
I don't even. Whatever.
Projections, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? So as of August 8th, 2023, these are our final projected standings, and we will post these on our socials. So if you're listening, go and follow those at the Fantasy Buzz Podcast. I think we had a solid episode today, gentlemen.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
covered our draft. We have another one coming up this weekend. Tune in for that. And that'll be all. Peace out, yeah.
See you next week.
See you next
guys.
week.